All right, today we're jumping into a topic that's probably one of the most misunderstood, maybe even sensationalized ideas from the Quran. It's this concept that's often used, let's be honest, pretty contemptuously to paint a certain picture of paradise. But what if that whole picture is just completely wrong?
You've definitely heard this claim before, right? It's this powerful, really provocative image. I mean, it's become a staple in how Islam is sometimes described. The idea is that paradise is all about these physical, carnal rewards, specifically for men. But that's the million-dollar question we're digging into today. Does the Quran itself, the actual source text, back this up? Does it support this popular idea at all? Well, the answer, it might really surprise you.
So where does this all come from? Well, according to the research of Dr. Hani Ashan, this entire controversy, this whole narrative about virgins in paradise, it all boils down to how we've understood a single, really crucial Arabic word.
And this is the word right here, Hoor. Seriously, getting to the bottom of its real linguistic meaning is the key that unlocks everything. It changes what these verses might actually be talking about. So yeah, let's get into the linguistics.
Okay, let's break this down. The Arabic root for Hoor is ha-wara. And what's fascinating is that in his analysis, Dr. Achan points out this root doesn't refer to a person. Not at all. It's actually about a process. Think about the action of unraveling or unpacking something complex. You know, like unwrapping a gift to see what's inside. It's all about discovery and deep analysis. So just look at this contrast. It's pretty stark, right? On one side, you have the common translation. But on the other, Dr. Hani's research suggests that if we go by its linguistic root, her isn't a person. At all. It actually describes the verses of the Quran themselves. These verses that are just packed with so much information that they need to be carefully unraveled. The whole focus shifts from a person to a process of gaining deep insight.
Okay, so that's a pretty big claim. How can we even test it? Well, Dr. Achan uses a really core principle in his work, letting the Quran interpret itself. So let's take a look at a specific verse where this word Hoor actually shows up. We're going to go to Surah Al-Rahman.
So here's the verse, right here, in the original Arabic. Now, the traditional way of translating this is what gives us that whole virgins in tense idea. But what happens if we plug in this other linguistic meaning for Hoor?
Well, the meaning just completely flips on its head. I mean, instead of virgin women locked up in tents, this new reading suggests something totally different. Scriptural verses needing to be unraveled that are protected by Allah. The focus just snaps from a physical reward to a spiritual and intellectual one. But you might be wondering, what about the tense?
And this is where it all clicks together so perfectly. The word used for tents here is kima. Now, literally, yeah, it means a tent. But metaphorically, in Arabic, if you're in someone's tent, it means you're under their care, their protection. So with this new understanding, the verses, the Hoor, they aren't locked away. They're divinely protected by God. See how that fits?
All right, let's keep this going. Let's jump to another example, this time from Surah Al-Dukhan, and see how this starts to build a really consistent picture across the whole Quran. This next part is all about who gets this reward and what that reward really is.
Now the verse says, this reward is for the al-muttaqoon. You'll often see this translated simply as the pious or the righteous ones. But Dr. Hani's reading suggests it's way more specific than that. It might actually be referring to people who are disciplined, super careful, and methodical in how they approach the Quran. We're talking about diligent interpreters.
And the reward is Jannah. Now again, the common translation is paradise or a garden, right? A physical place. But the root of the word actually means to be concealed or surrounded. So in this context, it could be describing a state of mind, a profound, immersive state of understanding. It's like a private intellectual space you get to enter after you've put in the hard work of interpretation.
And this is the crucial link. The Quran itself connects these two ideas. That state of deep understanding, the Jannah, is directly paired with the Hoor. You know, the verses that are packed with meaning, just waiting to be unraveled. It's like the process and the reward are basically the same thing.
Dr. Achan calls the peak of all this hard work the aha moment. You know that feeling, right? It's that sudden lightning flash of insight, that I get it moment. It's described as a gift of guidance from God that you receive after you've put in all that disciplined effort. That is the true reward for the person who really digs in. So when you put all of these pieces together, the whole paradigm just shifts. The reward that's being described in these verses, it's not physical, it's not carnal at all.
What's being presented here is a reward of profound intellectual and spiritual insight.
Okay, let's just recap this whole framework that Dr. Achan lays out. It all starts with the Hoor, these verses that are packed with deep meaning. Then, those verses are divinely protected, they're in a chima, and they're just waiting for the al-muttaqun, the disciplined interpreters, to do the hard work. And what's the reward for that work? It's Jannah. Not some physical place, but a state of profound insight, a flash of divine guidance. You can see how every single piece just connects logically to the next.
And here's another really important point that Dr. Achan brings up. In his research, he notes that if you look at the authentic sayings and traditions of Prophet Muhammad, there's just no mention of men being granted women as a reward in paradise. None. This really suggests that the whole concept might be a much later human interpretation, not something that's actually rooted in the original foundations of the faith.
And all of this brings us to a really powerful question that Dr. Haney's research leaves us with. He basically asks, if the Quran itself seems to be pointing toward a reward of deep understanding, a reward that's available to anyone who sincerely puts in the work, then why should we be bound to these much later misogynistic claims made by people who lived 1,200 years ago? It's a question that really invites every single one of us to engage with the text directly for ourselves,